Since the recent Doctor Who finale, where showrunner Russell T Davies desperately decided to have exiting Doctor Ncuti Gatwa regenerate into Billie Piper, the fate of the entire series has been pretty much up in the air. After all, the long-running series was already almost cancelled in 2021 due to the poor ratings of the disastrous Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall era, which had alienated the majority of longtime fans. In fact, the whole Ncuti Gatwa era was something of a lifeline for Doctor Who, as it only happened after Disney had agreed to finance and distribute the show for a few seasons as part of a bigger deal with the BBC to secure the rights to Bluey, a highly popular animated children's show. So basically, as something of a lucky break, this was the BBC's last chance to try to creatively course-correct the show, and while most fans were initially willing to give returning showrunner Russell T Davies a fair chance to do just that, very quickly it became clear that in the years that had passed since his first tenure on the show, Davies had become a rather pompous and bitter political activist looking to lecture viewers about divisive ideologies rather than writing escapist sci-fi adventures through time and space. And while the BBC have not yet officially addressed the failure of Russell T Davies' second tenure as showrunner or the show's future, one thing has changed for sure: Disney's attitude towards this show. Now, there's been much speculation recently regarding Disney's involvement with Doctor Who moving forward. On the one hand, there's still a Doctor Who spin-off called The War Between the Land and the Sea that's scheduled to come out this year, and yes, Disney has recently posted a trailer for it on their official YouTube channel. I mean, it was only viewed by about 180,000 people, which is catastrophic considering that Disney's YouTube channel has over 1.8 million subscribers, but yes, they did post it. On the other hand, there doesn't seem to be much of a marketing push for the spin-off, and it's generally understood that after the airing of this 5-episode Doctor Who spin-off series, Disney will no longer be obligated to financially back the franchise, and really, who could blame them if they abandoned Doctor Who altogether? Disney have taken some financial hits in recent years, throwing money on projects that were poorly received, but nothing has performed quite as poorly as Doctor Who for them, and it's really not a franchise they were ever really keen on to begin with. And while officially Disney have stayed silent about the future of Doctor Who, I believe I've found some concrete evidence that shows just how little interest Disney have in the Doctor Who franchise these days, and oddly, my investigation has also uncovered a bizarre and strange connection to Mel Gibson of all people, and I will share more about that in this video. But before we begin, please make sure to like and subscribe if you're interested in getting more exclusive Doctor Who stories like this one.
Do it.
So for those of you who are not aware, in the US, if you have Disney Plus as a standalone service or bundled with Hulu and ESPN like myself, on the home screen of the app, they have a designated area for top recommendations. And like clockwork, anytime Disney releases a new show or movie, they'll always recommend it front and center. Recent examples for this include Andor, Daredevil Born Again, and Skeleton Crew, all of which were heavily promoted while they aired new episodes. And before that, we saw this also happen with both Agatha All Along and The Acolyte, even though those were extremely embarrassing shows. I guess what I'm saying here is that whether Disney thought all of their mostly crappy shows were actually any good or not, they still wanted to get as many viewers as possible watching them. That way Disney would have more of a chance to appear in Nielsen's streaming ratings, which is something they want to show their investors. And initially, during the David Tennant bait and switch specials and Ncuti Gatwa's first awful season, Disney did frequently place Doctor Who amongst its main recommendations, especially when there were new episodes. But as season 2 was moving along, I noticed something strange. Disney was no longer recommending Doctor Who to people anymore. In fact, in order to find the series, I actually found myself having to search for it at times. And it really seemed like a red flag to me when the episode Wish World that premiered on May 24th was not listed as one of their recommendations, as this was an episode leading up to the big finale. And typically, if you're a streaming service and you've spent a lot of money on something, you want people to watch that. You want to show some kind of return on investment. Instead, it was difficult to find the episode, at least here in the US. And just so we're clear, I didn't just check one time to see if it was there. I checked multiple times at different hours, right when new episodes premiered, and after that, on different days, on different times. I did the same for the finale, and each time I got a very similar result. Disney were not recommending Doctor Who, and I've actually seen people in the media speculate that the reason Russell T Davies brought Billie Piper last minute was because he was still trying to get Disney interested in continuing to work with him. But I actually don't really believe that's the case, because based on the lack of recommendation by Disney, it's pretty clear that they just didn't want to continue, and that was their decision. And for those who may be skeptic, I did actually take a screenshot after Wish World premiered, so I can show you what I mean. Now let's take a look at that recording from May 24th. As you can see, the first thing that comes up is the animated Lilo and Stitch movie, which of course goes hand in hand with the recent theatrical release of the Lilo and Stitch live-action movie. You also have Tucci in Italy, where I guess actor Stanley Tucci is in Italy for some reason. Nine Perfect Strangers, which is some new season of a show that I've never heard of, featuring a rather odd-looking Nicole Kidman. Nine Puzzles, which is a new Korean drama for those who are into that sort of thing. Malcolm in the Middle is a show from the year 2000 which Disney are currently producing a sequel series for because they run out of ideas for new shows. The Devil Wears Prada is a movie from 2006, which, as you may have guessed, Disney are currently producing a sequel movie for because they're recycling that as well. Then we have some golf game on ESPN, Minnie's Boat Tunes Pet Hotel, whatever the f*** that is, Throwbacks collection to movies for little girls, and Toy Story, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which looks like real quality programming, and even that gets a recommendation slot instead of Doctor Who. Then we have Arminia Bielefeld versus VfB Stuttgart, which is of course the finals game for the German Cup. Sports Center Plus on ESPN, and this is really interesting. Hacksaw Ridge, a 2016 movie directed by Mel Gibson, gets recommended to people, while Doctor Who is conspicuously absent. And then finally The Simpsons, which often appear on this list because it's a popular show on this streaming service. Now, just to go back to Hacksaw Ridge here, I don't know if you're familiar with this movie. This was a movie starring Andrew Garfield and directed by Mel Gibson. Now, there's a few unexpected things happening here. First of all, Mel Gibson's Hacksaw Ridge doesn't even seem like the type of movie that Disney would recommend to anybody in general, as it's less fluffy, trendy, or popular than the others on this list. And to be honest, Disney recommending anything related to Mel Gibson, let alone giving his movie one of their coveted recommendation slots over Doctor Who, is a bit surprising too. I mean, Doctor Who seemingly caters to the exact type of modern audience that Disney is so desperately looking for, right? And while I'm not saying that there's a direct connection here, but just this year, the current US president appointed Mel Gibson to be one of his 3 ambassadors to Hollywood. Maybe Disney recommending something he's associated with has something to do with that. It's at least possible, especially since Disney have been accused in recent years of being very one-sided politically, something they're even being sued about these days by Gina Carano with the financial backing of Elon Musk. Whatever the case may be, Disney's lack of promotion here highlights that no matter what Russell T Davies was planning for Ncuti Gatwa's finale, no matter what he did with Billie Piper, it seems like Disney had already decided a very long time ago that they want nothing to do with the Doctor Who franchise moving forward. And to those who think that everything I captured on this app is just some type of glitch, I actually continue to monitor Disney Plus recommendations over the past few weeks, including the finale, and nothing has changed. Even a few days ago when I checked Disney Plus's homepage again, there were still recommendations for Mel Gibson's Hacksaw Ridge and not Doctor Who. Make of that what you will. In any case, if you're interested in getting more exclusive investigations like this one, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, my friends. Thank you, and good day!
I am such an awesome guy. I make so many videos. But